тем, кто позволяет себе такие заявления в отношении России, хочу напомнить, что наша страна также располагает различными средствами поражения, а по отдельным компонентам и более современными, чем у стран НАТО. И при угрозе территориальной целостности нашей страны для защиты России и нашего народа мы, безусловно, используем все имеющиеся в нашем распоряжении средства. Это не блеф.
There was so much to talk about before that address to the nation from Vladimir Putin. It had been expected yesterday and has been happening now. But now, obviously, developments are moving apace. The crucial thing here is we are talking about 4 different regions in the Donbass. Donetsk, Luhansk, been declared as independent regions previously, Kherson and Zaporizhia, announcing plans yesterday for referendums. Vladimir Putin has approved those referendums in those regions, currently under Russian occupation. But basically what he's trying to tell us is when they vote, as inevitably they will, to be part of Russia, the moment that Ukrainian troops approach those territories, as they are very close to doing, they will be invading not Ukrainian nations or independent nations, but the Russian nation. That takes things up a whole other notch, doesn't it?
Julia, good morning. Yes, you're absolutely correct, and Sam's comments I agree with as well. Look, friends in Ukraine have been telling me for a number of days now that these 2 moves were on the way, and the effective annexation of oblasts in eastern Ukraine using sham elections as the context, and it then obviously allows Putin to rattle the nuclear and even the chemical weapons saber one more time. Look, the fact is Putin is absolutely desperate. How the West acts now is absolutely critical. And in this context, I have got to say I am absolutely delighted with the announcement that Liz Truss made yesterday of at least equaling Boris Johnson's support. And I would remind people, it's not just the money that the UK pays, it's the leadership. It's the leadership, and I've been told this by several senior Ukrainian diplomats in recent months, the leadership that the UK has shown behind the scenes to marshal others has been absolutely critical.
We've seen that close, almost bromance between Vladimir Zelensky and Boris Johnson, and tributes paid between each other as Boris Johnson left office, and indeed when he visited Kyiv, the extraordinary reaction from ordinary people on the street. It's usually a popular figure. If he ran for president of Ukraine, he could probably win that vote, couldn't he? If Zelensky wasn't standing.
And you know what I'd add to that, Julia? I speak, to senior Ukrainians, and I speak to ordinary Ukrainians who are friends of mine on a regular basis, and privately they absolutely reflect that huge respect and gratitude.
And that's the thing. But this, of course, we are seeing, Joe Biden has stood firm, $33 billion in aid. France, Emmanuel Macron, I mean, Germany just finally stepped up, rather late into the game. But the crucial thing here is now, you said this is absolutely crucial, and the reaction of the West is going to be crucial. So in terms of what we've heard so far, we think that the West is going to continue to provide arms and missiles and crucial help, financial aid to Ukraine. But at the point at which Ukrainian forces, as they are likely to do in coming days, enter any of these 4 regions, and Vladimir Putin says that's Russian territory, what happens then?
I don't know, Julia, but what I do...
I admire that honest answer. Thank you.
Yeah, what I do firmly believe, and I'm not, as you know, a military man or a military analyst, but I believe that we must hold our nerve in the collective West, and we must not blink. These areas, as I say, the pretext of sham elections, these areas are sovereign Ukrainian territory, and the Ukrainians have every right to take them back, and that is what the Ukrainian government has said they will do. And, again, I often mention a good friend of mine, Alexei Mikheyev, who you interviewed. And Alexei has made it, with great modesty and self-awareness, has made it very, very clear that it is only because of the support and the sanctions, which he is very clear are biting and are starting to have an effect, that Ukraine is still in the game. So I've said before, we're probably at a D-Day moment. But what we know from D-Day, it was eventually a turning point. but only because we doubled down on the amount of armaments and men that we put into the battle. And we know unfortunately, there was an awful lot of fighting and dying to be done between D-Day and ultimate victory. Now, that's an analogy. It's not an exact comparison, but I think the important point is, in the West, we must not blink. We must not be cowed by Putin's nuclear threats, and I fully expect chemical weapons threats to come along with those, because, you know, it's our whole rules-based order that's under attack here.
Absolutely. Cormac Smith is a former advisor to the Foreign Minister of Ukraine. Thank you very much for